So let's now move to the next topic, which is test level. So in general, we have 4 levels of testing. 4 levels of testing. The testing can be in a unit, which we call it is the unit testing. Unit testing means we test each component of the system. So the unit here can be anything, either class, either modules or functionality or anything. So here, the first level, which is the unit, and then we go to the next one, which is integration unit. So we have many unit now, integration testing, which means many unit, and then we test the integration between them, and then we test the system at all. After that, we test the acceptance testing, which is also it's focusing on the user end. So here we have in each level we have different activities. In each level, it's designed to detect different type of defects or different type of fault. So let's go through these testing level one by one. So the first one, which is unit testing. So in the unit testing, actually, first, why it's unit? Unit actually because each or the system, because the system actually is divided into a unit, and then each unit is tested separately. Each unit is tested separately. So what the unit here? The unit can be anything, any component of the system. So can be a module, can be class, can be GUI, can be anything in or either methods. So anything in the system you think it can be testing by itself, can be testing as individually. So this is, we can consider it as a unit, then we can perform a unit testing. So this is a unit testing. So unit testing also, I mean, some people here, they may define what the unit is. So they, as some of them, they define that unit can be a class. So anything inside one file, this is a unit. So can be tested. And the second opinion, its unit is a methods. Methods, for example, we have a class, and we have inside this class many methods. So each methods is a class, or each method is a unit. But in general, the unit, it's anything in your system. Anything in your system, it can be tested individually. So this is the unit. So stub and driver actually, guys, is a dummy code, which is used for testing purpose only. It's not that issue. We have, for example, if you have to test an application, for example, and this application consists is many components, as you see here, A, B, C, and then some components, let's say some components, it's not ready yet. Some components is not ready yet. So, for example, now if A, you want to test A, but B is not ready. B is not ready. So you will create a dummy code just to do the purpose or to do the function of B. And then now this code, it's called stub. This code is called stub. And you have the another one, if the calling function, for example, which is A, is not ready, and you want to test, B. So here you will create a code, and then you will use it for testing B. So here, since A is not ready and A should call P, so here they call it is driver, something like it's control P. So here we have stub and driver, and both is just used when we don't have all the components it's ready. So we use dummy code to just replace that missing or unready, that missing. So you just that component. So here an example. Let's say you have software. That software just to display the temperature, to display the temperature. So we have here hardware, for example. This is the thermometers, and thermometers just used for record the temperature. And then your application is just to display the temperature. So if you see here now, every time you have to, if you want to test your application, every time you have to connect with this thermometer and then read the data. After that, display the data. So here, suppose, okay, you don't have the temperature, the thermometer first, you don't have the temperature yet, or it's difficult to record that the real temperature now. So maybe you can create a dummy code that's just generate a number from, for example, from -50 to -2, from negative. So just to generate a number, and that number is used as a temperature. So this is an example of using the dummy. So here we have another test level, which is integration testing. So integration testing now, actually, you have a unit test, for example, and then you test all the unit, and all unit working well. So you have to move to another level, which is integration testing. So integration testing, it's generate or testing all the components together, all the modules together. So this is to make sure that all these module is working properly when they work together. So this is the integration testing. We have many units and we want to test that unit all together. So here we have different type of integration testing. We have bottom-up testing, and we have top-down testing. We have also big bang testing. So what is the bottom-up testing? So here, bottom-up testing. So what's this? Actually, this is, we start testing the low levels. So we have here, for example, we can start testing the last level, which is JKL. So if we need any component which is from the high level, so we have to create a driver unit to test the other unit. We have the opposite one, which is top down. That means we'll start from the high levels. We'll start testing from the high levels and then the low levels. So the same thing there. If we need any components from the low level, so we have to create step. So we have the last one, which is the big bang testing. Big bang testing, actually, it's testing all the unit at once. We test all together. So actually, this is not practicals, because here it's maybe manifold later. It will be difficult to be located. So this is also, it can be used for small, is okay, but if you go for big system, so we have the problem that's locate the defect. Later we cannot locate the defect. So here we don't have to use the stub or the driver, because we have to test all the system together. So here an example of the integration testing. Integration testing, as we say, integration testing, not just I want to test the components together. I want to test from up to down. No, sometimes also we have to test, as we see in the test procedure, we want to test a sequence of event, for example. So this one also, it's under the integration testing. If you want to, for example, you want to test the ability of login and then or sign up. After that, okay, there is a add item. After that, proceed to the checkout. So all this process is considered if you check all these modules together. So this is also, it's integration testing. System testing. System testing actually it's testing the system at all. Testing the system, the complete system. Is it working at all? Is it working as expected? Is it working aligns with the functional and non-functional requirements? So in testing, in system testing, we should have a complete system, and then we should test all the software, all the applications, all the software at all. So the system actually here, the main point here in the system testing, it's evaluate the complete and fully integrated system. So let's go to the next, which is the last testing, which is acceptance testing. So acceptance testing actually it's one of the, we can say it's testing the whole system, and this is it's focusing on the end user. Accepting testing here is focusing on the end users. Accepting testing, it's nothing, just testing all the functionalities by any user. So here we have two types of testing or accepting testing, either is alpha testing or beta testing. So when we talk about alpha testing, that means we have a person or team will test the application, but this team, it's from the house, from the development team, or from the same company. Okay, so we have the another one. This is two, the alpha and beta testing. So while the beta actually, when you have the testing team, it's from outside the company. For example, it's before, for example, the big companies release any products, any software, they send first to some people, not the developers, some users, normal users, and then they test it. So maybe sometimes you say there is version which is beta versions. So that's what means this version is just sent to some people from outside the company, and they test it, and then they feed the feedback to the company. So actually, guys, okay, if we talk about the acceptance testing, it's the easiest testing that can be done, which is just you send your application, your application or your system into the user, and then you give the user a form, and then the user will use the system. After that, will mark in the form or fill up this form. It's okay. It's pass or not pass. For example, they will check the ability of sign in. So if pass, okay, pass. If not, so it's not pass. So this is it's kind of like questionnaire after explore all the system by the user, and then the user can mark it's okay or not okay, pass or not, or fail. This is the acceptance testing. So the last one, which is before last one, which is regression testing. Regression testing actually, sometime after you test your application, and then there is any change happen, anything is occur. For example, there is defect, it's fixed. So you don't have to test all the applications. So here you will do the regression testing. So this is regression testing. It's done after modification, and the modification can be defects, or after defects fix, or introduce new functionality, or maybe after code refactoring. So for example, you want to improve your code, you test your application, you do everything, and then after that, maybe you say I want to change something. For example, I use array, I want to use array list, for example. So now you improve your code, or you make some change. So now here you will do regression testing, not another type of testing. So another, or the last testing, which is retesting. Retesting, this is just used for, there is no bug in your system, you test the application. After that, you test it again, just to confirm that the testing, the application is still okay. The application is still okay.